Is it 10 seconds?
Yeah, they can hear us, Ross.
Hey everybody, welcome to the MGF Podcast. This is episode 26 of the show with a temporary name, and we never know when the recording actually starts.
Because
But
this software's stupid.
we're talking movies, shows, games, Lego, and whatever else. Today is definitely a whatever else stream.
Oh,
But joining
yeah.
me as always is Tait.
What's up? What is up?
What is up, indeed? So,
What the heck is up?
Tait, I've been
Yes.
working on, first of all, changing my mic. Hopefully you can hear me.
Okay, Ross, the audio quality just changed, but it changed for the better, so that's good. I don't know
Okay.
what you did, but now the audio quality's way better.
That was the idea.
Okay.
So, Tate, I've been working on the next few Endgame figures, and by that I mean I've made significant progress on Black Widow and have not really even started on Ronin, but I have the means to start on Ronin, and do excuse all of the creaking in the background. But Black Widow is a figure that I'm posting the first teaser for today.
Woohoo.
And it's definitely more of a teaser. It's literally from behind, like she's standing, facing Red Skull on the mountaintop of Vormir, and it's pretty cool. And the figure, I've got pretty much most of the upper body done already, which is really good because obviously the Avengers Endgame showcases. I mean, the first one was September 3rd, which is well after what was originally intended for the start date of the series. However, I did say in that video that the pace would be picking up. And for two figures that took 4 months of on and off work to make, getting Black Widow done in just under 3 weeks and having a really good plan moving forward for Ronin is already significantly faster progress, which I'm really proud of. And yeah. So
that's pretty goddamn cool.
yeah, man, and it's exciting because I know a lot of people still have concerns like, oh man, are you going to be able to make all the Endgame figures like by the end of by the end of 2019? That is the goal. I mean, I have my roadmap posted on Patreon. I'm actually posting a big update on Patreon later today that'll have like all the pictures of my Black Widow and the progress I've made thus far. Like literally the whole upper body is done except for like the straps on her shoulders that I have to paint, the insides of her wrists. So like the wrist tasers, I finished painting around the actual arms, and then once that was done, once that's done, I still have to paint the insides of the wrists, and once that is done, so many that is done, State.
Well, I mean, dude, it's a process. It's a process, guys. Keep that in mind.
So, yeah, still have to paint the insides of the wrist for the tasers there, and then also a little bit of detail on the corners of the torso for both the front and back. All of that can be done in like an hour or two, literally. So an hour is probably being generous, definitely too. However, the point is, once I get the upper body of Black Widow done, I mean, it's just literally the legs and the staff, and that's it for the whole figure. So I'm already making really great progress toward the next Endgame showcase, and then Ronin I'm hoping to have made in 2 or 3 weeks. Just these figures certainly have not been nearly as challenging as Cap or Iron Man, right?
Right.
And I don't think Ronin will be either, because I actually just got the hoods in for Ronin. I meant to have a picture of those for Tate to throw up, but I totally forgot. So that one's on me. However, they're basically these really cool Shapeways 3D printed hoods, but the texture of 3D printed parts kind of sucks. So I'm going to have to take a drill to it and kind of sand around the whole thing, smooth it out, carve out the inside to make sure it goes on. Because I'm going to be doing painted faces for Ronin. So I really got to be careful with this hood piece that I'm using because it can definitely be pretty rough if I don't carve out the inside enough. Gonna have to be pretty careful. But yeah, man. I mean, Tate, like all the Endgame figures moving forward, especially after Black Widow and Ronin, like Smart Hulk, aside from the Infinity Gauntlet, like the Nano Gauntlet, rather, that whole big fig is a paint job.
Yeah, it's not rocket science.
I shaved the abs off, sculpt the Nano Gauntlet. It's a paint job, and it's a lot of paint. But it's not like I'm doing Gladiator Hulk.
Right.
I mean, all I have to do is throw a base color of black on that thing, study the design, study his suit, figure out how to translate that onto the big fig, and paint it on. it's really nothing I haven't done before is the point. And so he won't take as long as, say, any other big figure I've made in the past. Like, you remember, like, the Hulk I did for Infinity War? I made that in like a day because it was literally just
Right.
torn up pants and then like a wash.
That's what you're telling me, yeah.
Yeah, and some sanded hair that I did the night before. But the point is, yeah, man. I mean, like, and then like figures like Rocket Raccoon, Nebula, those aren't going to be as challenging or as time consuming as Cap or Iron Man were, or the challenging figures are going to be Iron Patriot Mark II, which I actually already have a really good start on.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Because
guys,
Tuminio like already has like the sculpted armor.
right, I was just gonna say, Ross has been sending me pictures of the sculpted armor. You've done a little bit of paintwork on it, right? Just not too much?
No, dude, I've left Tuminio's Iron Patriot Mark II armor totally blank so far. He actually like he kind of paints them himself before shipping them out. I don't know what paint he uses or how he does it, but
well,
it's
it's
a pretty nice
freaking rad. I mean, everything aside, it's awesome.
And because like the Iron Patriot Mark II armor is like a walking tank, I mean, I have to extend the limbs, like the arms and legs, and I'm gonna get some help from my buddy LM9 to figure out how to do that seamlessly. And then after that point, man, it's just chopping up Tuminio's Iron Patriot Mark II sculpt, figuring out what I can keep, what I can't, what needs to be cut up and adapted and glued on and sculpted over, just stuff like that. And then once all the armor is in place, it is just paintwork, right? And the same can be said for Rescue. Rescue, I've already got the helmet painted, aside from the highlights that I have to still paint on. I have the wings ready to go and the body ready to go. And then pretty much from that point, again, it's just the paint work. And that is the bulk of the process for the Avengers Endgame figures, especially even, say, Captain Marvel 2023. Right? Like, I have the Captain Marvel helmet from the Captain Marvel figure that I made earlier in the year, which I never finished. So I've got that helmet. So again, it's a paint job. I already have her hairpiece painted for the Captain Marvel 2023 figure.
There you go.
And then Armored Thanos, which we'll talk more about at a later date. I mean, Armored Thanos is pretty much going to be mostly all paintwork. I mean, depending on what sculpt I wind up going with, there may be some more modification work that I'll have to do. I might have to sculpt my own Infinity Gauntlet onto the left arm.
I think you should, dude. Your Infinity War Gauntlet is really great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's something you should stick to. That aesthetic, not even aesthetic there, but that quality.
I'm hoping that I can apply that aesthetic to the Infinity Gauntlet that's already on the sculpt that I'm planning on using.
Yeah.
That you might have seen.
And guys, the sculpt is really impressive. This one that Ross is going to use, and of course he's going to shape it up, make it look even better. I mean, Thanos is going to be incredible.
I'm going to hit the whole thing with a base color of black, and it's going to be all me. But the sculpting work is pretty incredible. Can't wait for you guys to see that. But yeah, so Austin says he watched The Boys after last week's podcast and fell in love and immediately made purist figures of the Seven and Billy Butcher. Thank you guys for recommending the show. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's really great. I mean, that's, as somebody who's read the comic books and who's loved the comic books, seeing it become a TV show is so great because that cast of characters is coming into more households. It's becoming more and more popular, and that is all I could ask for as a fan of that of a fan of that comic series. So I think it's awesome that it's reaching more people than it initially did going forward.
Hell yeah.
That's excellent.
And just a little bit ago, Ez was asking, have you considered making 2019 Aladdin figures? No, I don't think I'll be doing Aladdin figures at any point. I feel like Lego's Aladdin figures are already so good.
I'll make a Play-Doh genie.
And I mean, the movie costumes are really cool, but I'm always so buried in Marvel figures. Tate, I was telling you, just like a few days ago, I was just sitting here and then I was just thinking, like, man, I love doing all the Marvel figures. It is so great. And there are just so many other figures, though.
Right, like Gray Matter, Diamond Head, Forearms, Stinkfly, Ripjaw, Ghost
There's
Freak,
a ton of Ben 10 figures.
Heat Blast.
I didn't even grow up
Wild
watching
Mutt.
But I just have to make so many Ben 10 figures, Tate. I mean, that's always been the dream.
You have to make the original 10 plus Ben. It's not that hard, Ross. It's not like
10 plus a Ben. That sounds like a show name in and of itself.
Ross, it's not that hard, dude. It'd only be hours of sculpting work. It's literally not that hard, bro. Get real.
But, like, I'm going to post this on Patreon once I, like, kind of polish it up a little bit. but I just kind of call it my dream figures list. Like, what figures would I make if I wouldn't kill the channel by doing it? And I've just got like so many Old Republic figures from like Star Wars: The Old Republic, like Halo figures. I'm talking like Forerunners from the books. I mean, like the Noble Team Spartans, Blue Team Spartans. I mean, like the entire Dutch Vanderlyn gang from Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, everyone in the gang. I love all those characters. I mean, like the Call of Duty, Modern Warfare series characters, like the main characters, like Captain Price, something like that. Just it's just this long list of characters that I love that have really resonated with me. I've even got the boys on there and the Seven, and I mean, just all kinds of figures that, like, if I had the Speed Force, I would definitely make. I mean, just the most random list of figures, going as far as like Nathan Drake from Uncharted 4. I mean, just all kinds of figures that I would love to do at some point.
Ross is a fake Uncharted fan. Ross. You are a fake fan. Never played the games. Watched a walkthrough.
I didn't have a PS4 in 2016.
But you have one now.
The games.
What's your excuse? It's like $10. It's like $10.
Is it $10 for the whole series?
No. For 1 through 3, it's like 10, and then Uncharted 4's 10 as well.
That's nuts already.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's how games work. Besides Nintendo games.
I mean, but like even bigger games like Overwatch still cost a ton. Those AAA games that are massive on multiplayer.
It's because the online multiplayer ones that are still supported still have all of the have all of that interaction because they're ongoing. I'd love it if every great game kept going.
Yeah. We talked about it. I mean, like, it is a crime how much Red Dead Redemption 2 dropped off. I mean, I'm pretty much at the point now where I'm ready to say that is my favorite experience, my favorite gaming experience of all time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of favorite gaming experiences of all time, Descent Customs and Games asks, have you played Persona 5? I have. That game is incredible. That is one of the best RPG games of all time. I genuinely think so. It's the game that kind of... In 2017, I bought it, even though I hadn't been very into JRPGs. Modern JRPGs, I've always loved SNES ones. But as soon as I played Persona 5, that kind of changed. I started going and playing more modern ones. Dragon Quests, more modern Final Fantasies, because the most recent one I had played was 7. So I played 15 after Persona 5. That kind of opened me up to new JRPGs. I love that game. Ross, you would not like that game because it's quote-unquote anime game, even though it's not. But
I don't know what Persona 5 is or JRPGs. I know what an RPG is, but you added a J, so I'm confused.
So a JRPG... so JRPGs are the original RPGs. It's just any role-playing game that's made by a Japanese developer. I think it's unfair to call them anime games like a lot of people do because they could be made by a Western developer. They could be made by Activision or by Blizzard, and it wouldn't change anything about the game. There's nothing that's distinctly anime in terms of the gameplay and that kind of stuff. That's kind of like my big thing about JRPGs. I absolutely adore JRPGs. It's not anime. Anime has weird sexual undertones. JRPGs are just cool fantasy adventures.
I think my definition of what anime is kind of skewed. Like, to me, anime is just... It doesn't even necessarily have to have those, like, sexual themes. It's just the... Anime, to me, is just that style of animation.
Right. So, for me, because...
And that's probably not accurate.
Because I love JRPGs so much, and because they use the Japanese styling in terms of their character designs... I always have to get on my high horse and say, it's not anime because there's not weird things happening in the source material. Like, literally, you could change the graphics to, like, Call of Duty graphics and the game would be the same. You know what I mean? It's just the stylization of the camera. Persona 5 does have some weird anime moments, though. I will say that. There are some weird moments in that game. But otherwise, dude. Like Fire Emblem, the game we were talking about, a couple weeks ago when it came out, or a couple months ago when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
You could change those character designs out for anything, and the story would still be intact, and it would still be a Western story. It wouldn't feel like an anime.
That's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, I don't watch any anime, so I mean, my view is completely skewed. But I know it's creepy and weird.
I mean, people were Naruto running into Area 51.
That's true.
On the 20th.
That's true. And see,
it is.
Naruto and Dragon Ball Z don't seem that bad, but like all of those other like. kind of niche ones. Like I have a friend who's super into anime, and she made me watch an episode, and I was so uncomfortable the whole time. There was like sexual themes with little kids, and people were just like every single woman in every single shot had massive titties that would
Oh
just
God.
weigh down her back. It was so awkward to watch. It's like, whose idea was this? Right? And then it brings it back to the whole Hatsune Miku digital girlfriend thing. Just strange to me.
Well,
I don't understand that. I never will understand that. Maybe if I was Japanese, I
but
would.
you want to understand that.
No. No, I don't. I think I'm good.
Dude, Tate, I was looking at my roadmap just now for the Endgame showcase, and like speaking of like figures that are just going to be easier moving forward than people might expect, like Thor, for example, because I'm doing a version 2 of my Infinity War Thor and I'm not doing Fat Thor. All I like for that figure, it is literally just I have to figure out the chainmail arms and how I'm going to get that engraved onto the arms. And once that's done, I have to figure out the front of the torso, maybe the 3D elements for the back, and that's the bulk of the work.
Dude, I
Then
think
it's just paint. It's just paint. Then I have to do the cape, which I already know how to do because I did it for Infinity War, and I already have Stormbreaker ready for its paint job.
yeah.
And I know exactly how to do the hairpiece. Like a lot of it's
I
really
do
not
think,
as
Ross,
bad as people might think.
I think you
And
should
so I can
consider.
definitely get this done by the end of the year.
I think you should consider the dreadlocks and the beard. I think that might be good. Or are you just dead set against it? Like, you don't have to make
No,
him
dude,
fat.
I'm pretty dead set against it. I was not a fan of how Thor was handled in Endgame.
Oh,
I
no.
still stick
I
to
mean,
that.
yeah, no, we've talked about this plenty of times here on the
Yeah, we've talked
podcast.
about that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think just seeing you make a braided beard would be really cool. Seeing a customer
Yeah,
make a
and,
braided beard.
and I agree that would be cool, like a mashup of Infinity War Thor and Endgame Thor.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also was never really proud of my Infinity War Thor. Like Andrew over at
Well,
AV Figures
dude.
did a great job with Stormbreaker at the time. But then like the torso I did was just all kind of paintwork, and the paintwork was good, but it wasn't necessarily accurate, and and very simple. And also it was when the trailers were still coming out. So I mean, he's got the eye patch, right? He's got muscle arms. Because in the trailers for Infinity War last year, he had he had the eye patch and he didn't have the chainmail arms, but we still saw him on Nidavellir, you know, basically as he appears at the end of Thor Ragnarok in the beginning of Infinity
Right.
War, just with a cape, right? So he had Stormbreaker and the cape, but he didn't have the chainmail arms or the eye patch. Or I'm starting to confuse the details. But the point is,
The point is, it's not as
Infinity War
accurate.
Thor was never satisfactory. Like for instance, like I can look back at a lot of my Infinity War figures, like the Mark 50, the Iron Spider suit, Wanda, Vision, Falcon,
Dude,
War
that
Machine, Thanos.
Iron Spider suit that you made him, the Thanos, those are some of your two best figures, I think.
Yeah, man, and I'm still really proud of a lot of those figures. But Thor was not a huge fan of the Thor I made last year, and so, I mean, while it'd be cool to do an Endgame mashup with the dreads with
No,
the
dude,
braided beard, it's just
make your perfect Thor. Whatever perfect
man.
Thor is to you, that would be excellent.
and that's the idea. Just
Yeah.
and so I'm hoping it's gonna look really cool.
Absolutely.
Black Widow is already shaping up to be really awesome. I've got like a whole 3D belt going, which I wasn't gonna do at first. I did it for Infinity War Black Widow, and then I was looking at her belt in Endgame, and it was a lot more straightened and not as lopsided as her belts tend to be
Mhm.
to warrant that extra strap, like a actual custom made strap piece.
Right.
And I was like, it would complement the figure so well if I just made one again, and so I did.
Cool, man.
But
Excellent.
yeah, something totally random too that I did. I took I think yeah, you saw this on Snapchat. I'm gonna post it on Patreon pretty soon. Um, but of course, Valkyrie is a figure I already made back in 2017. She's inaccurate as hell because it was made, before before the movie came out, and so there wasn't a lot of reference. And she obviously got a hairstyle change for Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, I realized, the Phantom Menace Padme hair works really well for that hairstyle. So I painted it up with dark brown, hit it with a black wash, and it works perfect for Valkyrie from Endgame. And so she'll look great as a stand-in figure. And I'll also have a Pegasus for her figure as well to kind of
They just
Look pretty
released
sick,
those Harry Potter ones.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
I might even just do like a whole separate quick little video about that. Just like
that'd be great.
new Valkyrie, new hairpiece, not a showcase or anything. Here's a cool thing I did.
Okay, guys, I want to get your opinion. So, as you guys probably tell from the channel, Ross has uploaded a few smaller videos when it comes to the UCS reveal and when it comes to the Arthur Morgan fix and then the Korg video.
Yeah, I was doing this. I was doing a lot of this last year too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great, and I think Ross should keep doing it. What do you guys think in the
For me, like it's just like the reason I don't do it as much is like it's always like I always feel starved for ideas.
Yeah.
It's always so it is fun to do quick little videos like that, but it's like for one I lack the ideas, and then for two it's like if I have the ideas and then I do all those videos in like a couple months, then I'm like, oh man, I'm out of topics, I can't do these anymore. Really.
Yeah, but I mean, just doing like whenever you just update something, like you did with the what you did with Korg and what you're gonna do with Valkyrie, it could be really cool to just do a little snippet video. You don't have to do
Yeah,
it
man, because it looks cool.
consistently.
Like the hairpiece looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really great.
And yeah, man. So anyway, I guess we'll hang out for a little bit. We've pretty much that's mostly it for this week. But
I guess I'm throwing up just the two of us.
the graphic here is just it's gonna be us. But Joker tickets go on sale Monday morning.
Woohoo.
I don't know what time, but I remember Endgame tickets went on sale at like 6 a.m. It was obnoxious.
Yeah,
and,
that sucks.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna be really monitoring the ticket sales for Joker to figure out exactly when those are gonna go up tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to miss out like ever again because like I missed the first Endgame showing. I think if I remember correctly, I had to go to a 3D. Yeah, it was like ugh. But talk about Area 51. Oh man, I love how many people actually showed up to that. That was great. I mean, it's just like I like to imagine
So stupid.
if there are actual aliens in there. It's like, oh man, they're just like looking through the surveillance feeds. Like, are we just a joke now?
Am I a joke to you?
Yeah, like who the hell knows? It's like you gotta have your conspiracy theories. You got like I don't know, G-Men in there, scientists working with some
G-Man.
aliens. Who the hell knows?
No,
They're just like
G-Man from
surveillance
Half-Life.
feeds.
Yeah.
It's like wow, like the greatest secret known to man. We're in this base, just like making memes, and these guys are out there making memes. Oh man, no, I just love that idea though. They're like, what if some G-Men are in there working with aliens, and they're just like looking at the surveillance, and they're just a ton of people actually outside. I love it how they just like brought out the attack helicopters and a tank. They just like they just brought out a tank and just parked it in front of them.
Well, the issue is, dude, nobody was gonna actually rush the gate.
No, but I thought it was hilarious.
But if somebody did, or if 2 million people did, they had to be prepared. I'm really surprised no suicidal idiot, did it. I really thought somebody I thought one person was going to do it.
Right.
Like somebody
I thought so too.
Yeah, I thought a stupid suicidal maniac would just run past the gates and get gunned down.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that didn't happen. I am extremely glad that didn't happen because that would be awful. And,
I mean, the memes. There could have been potential weight to the memes of like the time traveler coming back and saying like, "Oh, you guys are gonna raid Area 51, and that was the Area 51 massacre."
Yeah, right. Yeah, you mean the massacre of September 20th?
Oh man.
But yeah. I didn't see the chopper and the tank stuff, Ross, but I did see they had Hummers.
Master Sword is saying those were fakes, and that sucks.
Oh, I just saw
those were fakes.
Well, I hadn't seen those at all. I saw you saw you saw the military police, right? The military police that were just at the gate.
they had guys standing out there.
Yeah,
but I guess maybe they didn't bring a tank in. I mean, that would have been funny.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that, but they had Hummers and stuff. I think they had a Humvee with a Browning on top. Just in case. But honestly, dude, it's really cool that people just got together and had a party. I know at the little Area 51 tourist area, there were 2,000 people. They all had a party. And then outside the gate, they said that there was anywhere between 100 to 500 people. 100 to 500.
So when is the next making of video? Stroke is asking, and that should be coming up pretty soon, actually, because I'm gonna probably get started on Black Widow's legs a little bit, um, and the staff, and just kind of make a little bit more progress toward kind of moving, kind of to move toward the end of the figure. Then at that point, I will do the making of video for Black Widow, and I'm gonna try to be a bit more laser focused with the making of videos going forward. Meaning, like, a lot of what I said in the making of video for Cap and Iron Man, those two videos, I kind of did wind up regurgitating in the showcase, which is okay and not the end of the world. But I do kind of want the making of videos to be a little more distinguishable from the showcases, meaning I really do talk about stuff that I really just probably am not going to mention in the showcases, and just kind of make sure of that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give that a shot for the Black Widow showcase, and really just kind of talk more about the nitty gritty stuff. We'll see. That is coming soon, and then of course I'm going to be getting started on Ronin really soon here after Tate and I try out the Modern Warfare beta, which is up for today, and then I think maybe some of tomorrow.
But before we do that, I have to beat Link's Awakening.
You have to what?
Beat Link's Awakening. So, guys, on what, Friday, Link's Awakening was remastered. The remaster was released, and it is literally the same game from 1993. The only difference is, like, you can aim in 8 directions instead of 4, and you don't have to replay dungeon puzzles, which is excellent. I mean, I think that this is the best way to play Link's Awakening, and it should be, noting that this is made 25 years later. But yeah, no, Link's Awakening is great. I mean, shoot, without a walkthrough, the game's like, 15 hours long of exploration. I played the game 5 times, so it's only taken me about 10 hours or so because I've just been exploring, and I'm on the Windfish Egg. Right now I have all of my instruments. But if you've already played Link's Awakening, there's no reason to pick this game up unless you really love Zelda.
Link is just such a great guy. What a guy.
Saving princesses, waking up Windfish.
The dude just never stops.
Fighting off a giant moon. Isn't that cool? He fights a moon. But not really fights. Ross, you gotta play Zelda. Like, you play Breath of the Wild. It's the easiest game to get into.
Dude, actually, I would love to, and I mean, because it's like, I need, like, good games that just, it's like, I feel like those would be, those games require focus, though, right?
Well, no, I mean, so Zelda games are puzzle games. They're puzzle games at the end of the day. They're not, it's not like Uncharted or Gears of War or Halo, where you have a set path and you adventure through. It's more so here's a puzzle, get through this puzzle, here's an item to use in that puzzle to make this dungeon unique, this puzzle system unique. You beat the boss, you move on, kind of situation. Breath of the Wild isn't that way. It kind of is, but it's kind of not. It's more so based around exploration, but you still have that. But like Ocarina of Time and every game before that, and almost every Zelda game in general besides Breath of the Wild and even Wind Waker's that way, despite being open world, it's go to a place, fight through the dungeon until you find an item, use that item to fight through the rest of the dungeon, beat the boss, move on. But it's done in such a way that keeps the player engaged and having fun the entire time.
Yeah.
So honestly, Ross, for somebody who's never played Zelda before, I'd recommend you play Breath of the Wild. And Breath of the Wild is a game that you should take 40, 50, 60 hours playing. Right? You should allow yourself that time over the course of, a certain amount. If it takes you 2 weeks or 3 months, doesn't matter. And then in between playing Breath of the Wild, play Link to the Past, because it's on the SNES Online, which is included with the online service. Link to the Past is the definitive Zelda game for a lot of people.
Link to the Past!
Fuck you.
I get it.
Oh my god. Oh my... MGF. And then, you know what's even better? There's Link Between Worlds, and there's two worlds, right? So the whole point of the game is there's Hyrule and Lowrule, and they're sistering dimensions. So it's it's the link between the worlds. It's the adventure you're going on, but then also Link can switch from 3D to 2D. So then that's a Link Between Worlds as well. Link Between Worlds
sounds like a great world.
Dude, Link Between Worlds is a great game. It's better. It's the best top down besides maybe Link's Awakening. But Ross, you play Breath of the Wild, here and there. You play Link to the Past at the same time as you're playing, Breath of the Wild, kind of swapping between the two when you get bored. And
I probably will at some point because it's like I'm 21, I'm getting old, and it's like, I'm playing. I find myself hopping on Red Dead 2 to just like chill and not like
That's just playing. That's just playing Zelda. You don't play Zelda to, go gamer mode. Like, when we played Halo, dude, we were on the edge of our chairs. You play Zelda to sit back, relax, and to see a really cute story take place. And Link's Awakening is one of the darkest games in the franchise because you think you're the hero.
For sure.
But are you? And you start questioning that through the game. It's this cute aesthetic that these games
Link,
have.
So yeah.
It's these cute aesthetics that these games have that's then very contrasted by the actual things happening in the game. So, Zelda is great. It's my favorite game franchise of all time. Second is Metal Gear. Third is Metroid. For anybody keeping score.
Might not be great, though.
What's that?
The Infinity Saga box set is apparently a thing that is going to happen.
Isn't that a good thing? All the movies?
Yeah, but there are two big concerns: the price point and how limited it's going to be. Because there are rumors that Disney may not be making a lot of them, which sucks. Because however much it's going to be, I'll just have to come up with that amount and just be like, all right, and just get the pre-orders in. I just hope like they don't do it under the radar and that they they make an announcement out of it and so that everybody has a fair chance at getting one.
Yeah.
Because, oh man, that would be incredible. I mean, it's just like you're talking like what, 22, 23 movies going into one box set.
That's nuts, dude. That's gonna sell out in 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, but it's like the thing's gonna have to cost anywhere from like what, $400 to $700. I mean, like, it's gonna be nuts. So I would hate to miss out. I really would.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you, Ian, for bringing that up, by the way.
$400.
And Stroke is also asking, when is the Far From Home showcase? So the plan, is still the same. I get through the Endgame figures, and then I go right into Far From Home, make the new black and red advanced suit and Mysterio, then make a showcase and cry, and maybe to never make MCU Spider-Man figures ever again.
Oops.
No, but I mean, honestly, like in the future, even after I do Far From Home figures, like toward the end of the year, maybe the beginning of next year, I would definitely like to go back and make a regular Stark Tech suit. Because the Stark Tech suit that I made, the regular Spidey MCU suit, was like back in 2016 when all we had were the trailers and like the first bits of artwork that were coming out of Tom Holland's Spider-Man at the time when Civil War was coming out. That thing is really old. Good looking figure still, no doubt, but I mean old. And that was the first time I figured out webbing, Tait, like how to properly properly and properly paint Spider-Man webbing around a minifigure head, symmetrical, in a really good, consistent looking way. And so I've literally I nailed it that one time in 2016 for the first time, and then I have just been copying that webbing ever since. Like I copied it onto the Iron Spider suit because it was still accurate, mind you.
Yeah.
I did check, but then it wasn't as accurate for the Spider-Man PS4 Advanced suit. So I had to change up the sides of the design a little bit with the webbing, but I still managed to keep it looking really good. So, yeah, man.
The face lotion.
We do it. And by the way,
get out of here,
Tim
kid.
Sargent's asking,
So no?
will I be making the Joker? I guess
Yes.
We'll see.
The answer is yes, Tim Sargent. We're not playing games in the MGF podcast. The answer... Oh, I mean, I shouldn't be speaking for Ross. I have no idea.
The answer is...
Mayhaps.
All right, man. Well,
Oh,
what? What?
are we ending it, Ross? Is that it?
I don't know, man. You got anything else, Dad?
I mean, I do. I have a lot of stuff to
All
add.
right, dude.
I have a lot
Do
of
it.
stuff to talk about, Mr. MGF, big man
All
on
right,
campus.
All right.
MGF is the
What's
school
your podcast?
bully that steals my lunch money every day.
Dude, that's Lego Yoda.
I am going to be making Play-Doh Thanos merchandise for the podcast. But first I have to make Play-Doh Thanos out of Play-Doh and Sharpie. So, epic. That's number one on my list of things to talk about.
Master Sword says I should consider making the Raimi suit. I would love to do that at some point.
It'd be cool.
That'd be fun.
But you have to make Ben 10 and his 10 aliens first.
Dude, Ben 10 passed me by. You know what I was watching a scene from this morning, though? Legend of Korra, Season 1.
That's
Like
such a good show.
When the Equalists first attack, I was watching that and I was like, oh my god, this is like better than I remember.
Yeah, no, that show is so goddamn good. Master Sword wants us to talk about RDJ coming back. Did we talk about that last week? I think we did a little bit. No,
maybe...
that's dumb and stupid and dumb, I think.
Okay, hold up. So there are arguments about this. And for me, my mind immediately goes to, okay, Tony's final scene against 2014 Time Remnant Thanos and his sacrifice with the snap and his funeral, those should be, like, a big part of me thinks those should be the last scenes. Like the last scenes for Tony Stark in Avengers Endgame should be the last scenes for Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU, period. Like, we don't see him after this point. Not in Marvel What If, not as, Morgan Stark's AI in 10 years. Just that is it for Iron Man. And but that's also semi-irrational, right? Because, it's okay to bring characters back if it works for the story. But it's like, then people are quick to make the case like, oh, but Black Widow just died and she's getting a whole movie. Why is that okay? And I'll tell you why it's okay. Because Tony Stark in the Marvel Cinematic Universe had a full, thorough, complete story that was completely fleshed out and developed in every way over the course of 11 years. They didn't miss anything. They covered everything in Tony Stark's life. And that the same cannot be said for Natasha Romanoff.
Yeah.
Her story needed to come to a close in the MCU, but there was still a lot left on the table for her character and what happened to her in her past. And so dropping a movie for her in between Civil War and Infinity War is a great idea. Because otherwise you'd have to start de-aging her for the rest, for anything that would take place before. And so,
right.
It works. It works for her, but it doesn't work for Robert Downey Jr. because Tony Stark has been so thoroughly covered in the MCU, and they ended it at the perfect place. So, but I mean, would I be upset if Robert Downey Jr. came in? Because it's taking place in between Civil War and Infinity War. So, of course, Natasha, I'm sure, was still in contact with Tony here and there. And so, that makes sense for the story, and I wouldn't be against that. But would it be weird to then have to say Robert Downey Jr.'s final scenes in the MCU were in the Black Widow movie? Yeah, because, it is more satisfying to say that his sacrifice sequence in Endgame was it instead, But that's it. What do you think, Tate?
Yep, dumb and stupid and dumb. That's my argument that I'm going with for this one. I think that's fair. No, but we had our Tony Stark arc reactor, and we should be done. We should just be done. I really think that they could have gone. Putting Cap in the movie.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think it makes a lot more sense for Cap, or I hope that they have, like, obviously Chris Evans is not going to be in it. He really made it clear that he's done. But I made it clear that he wanted it to be done, by the way. Mm-hmm. Now, I think what would be good is if they have Sam, like, meet up with Natasha really quick. Just to kind of check in on her,
Yeah.
Just something really quick like that. Like Team Cap, just sending Sam to make sure she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't take much, man. I think that would make a lot more sense than RDJ.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. I hope that they can make it work. That's gonna do it, I think.
Is it?
Dude, what? Please.
Untitled Goose Game came out on September 20th. And
Untitled Goose Game.
And it is the best game on Nintendo Switch. Better than Breath of the Wild. Better than Mario Odyssey. Better than Smash Brothers.
You're a goose.
No, I'm an Untitled Goose Game. Ross, you play as a goose, and all you have to do, you have a checklist of stuff to do, and all you have to do is ruin humans' days. It is so much fun. So the first mission, you open up the game, you're a goose, you steal somebody's lunch. You just steal someone's lunch to be a jerk. You steal a janitor's keys. You steal a guy's phone just to be a goose.
You know what, man? You're a lizard.
I think we talked about Area 51 already, Camel Clone. We just said it was kind of cool that people had a party.
Yeah, man.
All right, well...
We're going to go play the Modern Warfare beta on PS4. So
actually,
beta installed.
We're not. I'm going to play Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening.
Because Tait hates PS4.
Ross, it's literally... It's one cutscene. I'm on the last cutscene of the game, and I just want to watch it on my TV and enjoy it. Why am I an animal and Ross is just a dude?
Because you're literally Geico.
Ross, I think that is unfair and prejudiced.
Dude, I mean, you're saving like 60% or more with all the freaking lizards.
That's technically true.
Tait has so many geckos, it's nuts.
Master Sword, Fire Emblem Three Houses is awesome, dude. I have 200 hours in that game. It's so fun.
But on that note, Lego P3, Master Sword 648, Ian, Tim Sargent, the guys, Lego Tube 224, Camo Clone. Thank you for joining in. Everybody who has been here to hang out with us for this short 26th episode of the show with a temporary name that we really need to rebrand.
What's better than 25?
26.
Guys, this is bad. This is not a good episode.
Not our best show, but I've had a good time.
This is fun. This is always fun. I mean, the worst show is still better than not doing it at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this was barely like an episode, but it's been great to just hang out with my guy Tait and everybody in the chat.
Yep, that's right.
And there's a stink bug on my ceiling.
And there's a lizard in my room.
There are several lizards in Tait's room.
Oh, Ross, I have something to tell you, dude. We might get a tortoise.
A tortoise?
Yeah.
Dude, you should get an alligator snapping turtle and then let it bite your hand off, and then you can have a stump and it'll be badass. You can put attachments on it.
You're so stupid. I'll put a laser sight and an ACOG scope on it. No, but no, dude. So people get rid of tortoises, right? When they get too big. So like they'll buy a baby tortoise that's literally the size of a quarter at the store. And then after, 5 to 10 years, the tortoise is like 60 pounds. So nobody wants a tortoise that's 60 pounds. Come on. So we're gonna adopt a tortoise that's dehomed because it's too big, and we're gonna let it free roam at the pottery shop and do tortoise stuff.
And nip people's ankles.
No, tortoises are cool. You clean them with brushes. You know those push brooms. That's how you clean them because they're so goddamn big.
Dude, tortoises, they live for so long.
They live for 100. You should get a lizard Tait stroke. Have you never been on this podcast before? I have 6. That's why I have my reputation. I have.
Dude, Tait has how many geckos do you have right now?
I have 6. I'm getting rid of 2 of them because they're not nice.
Because they're dead. Oh.
No. I'm getting rid of them because I have my lizards as a emotional kind of decompressant, if that makes sense, like something to decompress and to feel good about.
Yeah.
And I have 2 lizards that just don't hang out. So why would I keep them? You know what I mean? I have 3 really great lizards that hang out with me. I have 1 lizard that's mean, but she's not mean. She's just skittish. But I keep her because my male lizard likes to smash. And but the 2 other ones, They don't do
So-
anything.
What you're saying is you are literally Geico, and you're saving 60% or more on car insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Well, on that note,
we're getting a tortoise, big one. I'll
yeah.
send you guys pictures.
All right.
All right.
Turtles.
Turtles.
I like those.
Tortoises. I'm so tired, dude. What has this past 5 minutes been?
It's
just been
almost
me
like we
talking
should have
about
ended the
tortoises.
show 10 minutes ago.
Ross, what is wrong with me talking about geese and tortoises?
I don't know. It's like
There's
we've
nothing wrong
we've
with
had the
that.
outro to this episode 4 times at this point.
There's nothing wrong with talking about reptiles, Ross.
Well, I agree.
All right.
But,
well, guys.
Well, yeah. So again, hasn't been the greatest episode, but that's okay. This will happen from time to time, and hopefully less and less after a solid rebrand and figuring out new strategies for
guys,
what we do on a weekly basis when we don't actually have a whole lot to cover.
honestly, I'm gonna set up webcam and I'm gonna do dumb shit on webcam. I'm gonna make tortilla making podcast.
So you're gonna buy a
Hell
Lego
yeah.
Yoda from 2002. Actually, no, the new Lego Yoda, and you're just gonna build it every podcast and then just smash it in the
Yeah.
feed for every episode, and it'll be the Lego Yoda religion.
Oh my god. Guys, okay, I have a story. I don't want to end the podcast because I have a story. So I hate store-bought tortillas. I absolutely hate store-bought tortillas. I think they taste bad. And so I bought corn flour and I started making tortillas last week. Right? And now I'm a tortilla making fool. And I've made like 200 tortillas in the past 5 days.
Yeah.
I've eaten so many tortillas, Ross. It's nuts, but they're so good.
Tortillas are good, man.
But like these ones are homemade, like right there.
Right there.
Right there. Right now.
there.
Right now.
They're just right
Dude,
there.
who wants tortillas? Put in chat right now if you want tortillas. I'll ship them to you.
All right. Hey, Tate,
Yeah.
you should hit the button.
No, I'm not gonna hit the button. I have more stories to tell from this week. I'm trying to think of funny stuff that's happened. And nothing really. I mean, my biggest story is tortoises and tortillas, so that's not really great. Okay, Ian doesn't want to hear my stories. Damn.
Dude, Ian is just freaking screaming at us now.
No, this podcast should have ended a long time ago. I'm just telling stories to
Yeah.
get these minutes up.
I just had the outro. Like, somebody should go back through this VOD and just count the amount of times I tried to end this.
No. I want.
Tate
Yeah, let's drag
wants
us on.
to kick the dead horse. He wants to beat the dead
I
horse.
want to. No, I
until
want to
it's
talk.
nothing.
I want to tell stories
All right.
about me making tortillas. I gotta send tortillas to Lego Tube and to Stroke.
Do it.
All right, I'm
Tortilla
done.
tortoise time.
I'm done. I think I'm
Are
happy.
you?
I'm happy with my contribution on this week's episode.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
everybody, remember to buy Joker tickets tomorrow morning.
Or don't if you live where I live because nobody watches movies here. I got Endgame tickets the day before.
That's nuts. Like, do you even live around humans?
No. Apparently, I just live around. I don't know. Book readers. Alright, guys. I'm super tired. I want to play Call of Duty and Legend of Zelda, so I'm out of here.
All right.
Alright, guys.
Until next time.
Sending 10
That's going to do it for Lego Yoda and myself. Everybody, thank you again for hanging out.
And we are inevitable. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.